But they did a little town hall and they were supposed to talk to undecided voters. And so first they came out and gave their speech, and Hillary said, "Here are some facts. I'd be a good president because I know how to be a politician." Then Donald Trump said, "In fact, everyone's gay. Everyone ever said anything means about me is gay. He's gay and he's stupid. We love it. We love it. And I'm gay, but it's fine. Being gay is good. I got no problem with it. But you're gay, Anderson Cooper. I don't know." And it worked, and he won. He won. That's the two things that are currently making. Well, there are three things currently making me feel old. One, I don't feel right to Olivia Rodrigo. I think that's wrong. It's bad. All right. She's old enough to be my daughter, or at least subordinate. Two, not on TikTok. Won't be on TikTok. I'm done. I don't care. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not really on any of them. I'm back to Facebook. I don't give a. That's how it started. Back in 2006, when someone was like, "Use your college email and you can get this website where you'll find women to have sex with." And I said, "Really?" 0% success rate with that. That's the second thing that makes me feel old, TikTok broadly. And the third thing that makes me feel old is the entirety of my body all the time. Everything within this beautiful human submarine that you see in front of you. It's a reference to Kin Bone. There are people watching this. If I have 9 viewers on TikTok, statistically, there's at least one that was literally not alive when this happened because it was over 10 years ago. There's probably an 8-year-old watching this. And if so, I want you to take your mom's phone, open her Venmo, and send $500, okay, to reelect Donald Trump at AOL.com. What was I talking about? The beautiful human submarines. That was Kin Bone. You might remember him. Let's look up Kin Bone. You know what, guys? Let's go right to YouTube and look up Kin Bone. All the time, I'm sexy all the time. To fix dropped frames in OBS, prioritize using a blah, blah, blah. So far, working. So I like it. Let's go to youtube.com. Kin Bone. All right. The year was 2015. Maybe no, this is 2016 by then. Kin Bone, the winner of the second presidential debate. It says 9 years ago. Kind of, look at this stupid face. So Kin Bone, it was 2015, and you'll see in the clip right here, there was a town hall between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump over who would be the next president. I'm not sure how that worked out. Which one of them was elected? I don't know. I haven't checked. I don't want to check. But they did a little town hall, and they were supposed to talk to undecided voters. And so first they came out and gave their speech, and Hillary said, "Here are some facts. I'd be a good president because I know how to be a politician." Then Donald Trump said, "In fact, everyone's gay. Everyone ever said anything means about me is gay. He's gay and he's stupid. We love it. We love it. And I'm gay, but it's fine. Being gay is good. I got no problem with it. But you're gay, Anderson Cooper. I don't know." And it worked, and he won. He won. We'll talk a little bit about this in some other segments in the future, but there's this consistent belief, I think, amongst a lot of... No. There's a consistent belief amongst more leftists than liberals that the working just doesn't know. They just haven't been exposed to the real Donald Trump. They don't know, and they don't want it. And I strongly disagree. I think the working of America saw Donald Trump and said, 100%. I love it. And they got more so each time. They like how he governs. The first election, 2016, he barely won. He got less votes than Mitt Romney got in 2012. I've repeated that statistic and never actually looked it up. Let's do that. How many votes did Donald Trump get in 2016? All righty. Why can't you just give me a number? What's AI good for? It's going to steal all of our jobs, and it can't even give me a number. Not 2024. I don't care about that one. No, because it says 2024. In 2016 election. There we go. He received 62 million popular votes. Okay, pretty good, actually. Hillary, 65. So she won, and that's why she got to be president. All right, now let's see how many votes did Mitt Romney get in 2012. So again, Trump, it's about 60. Let's round it up to 63 million. No, he got more than Mitt Romney. I was wrong. I've just been repeating a wrong fact for a long time. Popular vote, 60,933,504. Although he did get less a percentage of the votes. So he got slightly more votes overall, less of a percentage of the votes. Did Hillary get more votes in 2016 than Obama? No, Obama would have gotten more votes because, yeah, that's how math works. Anyway, it's a lie, and I know it's a lie. I'm going to keep repeating it. The point is, he lost the popular vote to Hillary Clinton. He was not terribly popular in 2016. Really, it was 2024 and 2020. Like, let's see, in 2020, he got more votes each time. Let's see here. How many votes did Donald Trump get? Does it say in Wikipedia? Yeah, he got 74 million votes. Joe Biden got the most votes any president has ever gotten before. Until we see in 2028. And of course, the nominee is, and people are going to be real surprised by this. They don't see this coming. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be real crazy. John Oliver. It's wild because he's British. He shouldn't legally be allowed to do it. Anyway, Ken Bone said he was an undecided voter, and he asked a question. And then later he did a Reddit AMA afterwards, like, I'm Ken Bone, ask me a question. And he just used his real account, which he also used to comment on pregnancy pornography. Just pictures of naked pregnant women, which he called beautiful human submarines, which will live in my head rent-free for the rest of my life. All right.
All day long, my staff and I, we've been pondering this important
This is turned too low. I got to turn this up.
What makes Ken Bone so awesome? Ken Bone, as you may recall, was the undecided.
Is the volume on this turned down? No, it's all here. I don't know why this is so low, but deal with it.
Decided voter in the red sweater who asked the energy question at last night.
Yeah, we're raising the volume up. It's taking a while. It's loading. Internet's bad.
Why do we all find him so charming? Is it the red sweater? That was actually his backup outfit after he says he split his
No dropped
pants
frames. It must look real bad right now. That's fine.
Maybe it's the mustache? Perhaps it's the
I
disposable
don't know why my
camera.
internet's
He
being
used to
bad right
snap
now.
pics
I believe my
after
girlfriend
the
had just
debate.
came home.
Ken Bone's name.
We're on like the T-Mobile 5G thing, which is just using the internet you get out of the air. All right, it's coming back. There we go. We're on the T-Mobile 5G, which we got entirely because of the Zach Braff and Donald Faison commercials. They make a lot of sense. It's great. There's one where Donald Faison, aka Black Scrubs, is on a treadmill, and he's like, I'm running as fast as T-Mobile's internet speeds. And Zach Braff is like, no, you're not. Let me on the treadmill. No, I'm going as fast as T-Mobile's internet speeds. And then he runs into a wall. And then I said, I got to do it. I got to do it. It was cheap with our T-Mobile phones and plans and everything like that, but it mostly works. It mostly works, but not always.
Name started trending online during the debate. Now, Mr. Bone's making the TV interview rounds. He told CNN earlier today.
Okay, this is not what I wanted. This is a CNN clip. That's Hillary Clinton. That's Bill Clinton, who's not Hillary Clinton. Ken Bone's debate moment from the New York Times. Ken Bone, America's newest sweetheart. Remember this? Ken Bone questioned St. Louis debate. So this was in St. Louis, as a matter of fact. Okay, maybe the most dead America. That's not true at all. Memphis, Tennessee is worse. I like St. Louis a lot. I grew up in Central Illinois, so I was like a Cardinals fan growing up. We'd go down to St. Louis for family vacations and trips and stuff like that. I've always enjoyed St. Louis, but it's one of those American cities that at one point was a thriving metropolis, and then due to a variety of factors, presumably we can just blame Israel. I don't know exactly how, but we can do that. Presumably, somehow a bunch of people moved out. I mean, Detroit, it's obvious it's manufacturing and things like that. Memphis, it's obvious it was, the death of Elvis. And then the film Hustle and Flow didn't do as well as kind of everybody wanted. Looks like the whole internet is being, or the whole sound. I need to turn my there we go, turn my volume up a little bit. Anyway, so St. Louis I like St. Louis. I like to go to Cardinals games there. It's a cheap city. It's fun to hang out. I've done a lot of stand-up, played a lot of music in St. Louis. I'm a fan of St. Louis, okay? Ken Bone, though, so stupid.
We have one more question from Ken Bone about energy policy. Ken?
This is loud.
What steps will your energy policy take to meet our energy needs? while at the same time remaining environmentally friendly and minimizing job loss for fossil power plant workers?
Mr. Trump, 2 minutes.
Absolutely. I think it's such a great question.
We don't get to see Trump's answer. That was all it was, by the way. And then the internet loved him. It was a better time on the internet.
You got the red sweater.
We have one more question from Ken Bone.
Why does it
about,
not say the
energy
response?
policy. Ken?
This is from October in 2016. I want to get the response. Oh, and this sums up his Reddit past, which is very funny. This is what I was just referring to. No bone about it. Audience member 1 second debate. What's Ken Bone doing now? I just checked and he died. Autoerotic asphyxiation.
For America's most famous undecided voter,
What steps will your energy policy take to meet our energy needs?
red is no longer just the color of his sweater.
It wasn't that long of a question. You could have memorized it, Bone Zone. Come on, buddy.
It's the color of his face. Did Ken Bone, the unlikely star of the last presidential debate, let the world learn more than he probably would have liked? The Illinois power plant operator.
Oh, he's one of ours. Hey, Reddit, come step into the Bone Zone AMA, reddit.com IMA comment. Hey, Reddit, it's something Ken Bone. The thing about Ken Bone, and the reason he became very famous, is that he has a funny face. If he was charismatic at all, he could have made a living as a character actor in like the 80s. He could have been in some great Coen Brothers movies. Basically, he's sort of a Midwest John Polito. Why didn't they put John Polito in Fargo? Coens, you're on watch.
Promoted a Reddit Ask Me Anything session using the account name alias Stan Gibson 18. But posts written before Bone became famous might
By the way, I did not realize that was his name. Stan Gibson was a player for the St. Louis Cardinals for a long time. And my dad had a dog named Gibson for a long time. He named after. My father loves 2 things in the world: his dogs and the St. Louis Cardinals. And I think his children are third, to the point that it's maybe out of the love zone. I think all of his children rounded up maybe would get like a high like. Now, some of us are bringing it down. Some of us are bringing it.
surprise you. We'll share our top picks. Number 4, a comment on some questionable conduct. He wrote, I didn't scam any money. I forged documents to make it look like I had car insurance so I wouldn't get fired from my pizza delivery job.
Yeah, that's not, who cares? That's stupid. Oh my God. This was a worse time. We were desperately trying to get scandals going because we didn't have a president that like every day he was like, yeah, it turns out that I thought I could make 15 more cents by selling dead baby skulls, so I babies to death. I never babies to death, but here's some video of fucking a baby to death and selling its skull for pocket. Originally I was just selling the copper out of the walls in the White House, and I was making good money. Then I realized dead baby skulls, you get a lot more.
Number 3, I'm getting a vasectomy. I had mine done 2 years ago. Sexual satisfaction is way up. Number
Respect.
2, on the
I was going to get a vasectomy when I was younger, back when I was having sex, and then I didn't have any insurance, and so I never did it. And then now I'm just old and I don't anymore, so I'm just like, why bother? Who cares? Who gives a The one problem, though, is that I'm at an age where if I were to get my girlfriend pregnant, we're probably going to have to keep it. You can get an abortion in your 40s, right? I'm still not, I don't care. I'm not getting you that plan B, okay? I would steal it from the Walgreens, but they lock it up, all right?
controversial Trayvon Martin shooting. From what I read about the case, the shooting of Trayvon Martin was justified. But what I've learned of Zimmerman through statements, interview, and behavior, he is a big old bird.
He is a big old bird. Yo, do people still remember the Trayvon Martin shooting? The thing I need to stress about the Trayvon Martin shooting, more than anything, white people were not involved. Keep us out of this. There was a man, George Zimmerman, who I think was Cuban. I don't know what kind of Mexican he was. He might have been a Cuban. He might have been a Guatemalan. But he was, one of the subsets of Mexicans that all of those are, I think Caribbean counts as a kind of Mexican, which is weird. I wouldn't have guessed that. And there was a young man named Trayvon Martin who was walking around a gated community in Florida. Won't be researching this. All of this is true. You can absolutely guarantee it. I won't look it up, and if it's wrong, don't tell me. This young man named Trayvon Martin was just like walking around this gated community in Florida. He famously had, I think, some iced tea. He had like brisk raspberry iced tea, which I'm not saying this is good, but I'm willing to bet if there were, if you did a chart of the drinks people had when they get shot by other people, or like raspberry brisk iced tea is going to be up there, Orange soda. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's good. There's conflicting factors. He had that and he had some Skittles, I think. So too much sugar for a young man. Not healthy. And he somehow got in a fight with George Zimmerman, who was like a weird, dumb psycho who was the head of the neighborhood watch at this gated community. And he confronted him. And then George Zimmerman got a gun and shot him. I've read some stuff that Trayvon Martin might have like physically attacked him and started punching him, but he also might not have. I'm honestly not really sure. But I think that's what Ken Bone might be commenting on. I mean, for the record, even if someone is punching somebody, they don't deserve to get shot. But I'd also recommend not punching random people because they might have guns. I really don't know the whole story, but I cannot stress enough how little white people were involved, all right? Just absolutely keep us out of it. And if it turns out George Zimmerman was like half white or something, that was not the half he shot with. His left half was white, and he had a right hand where his gun was.
And number 1, on the Jennifer Lawrence nude hack, maybe she should have been more careful with her pics, but the bad guys are still the ones who sought them out and looked at them. By which I mean guys like me. I saw her butthole. I liked it.
Again, correct and woke. That is a correct and woke opinion. You can say maybe she should have been more careful. Oh, hey, Lamp. Thanks for joining us. Oh, my God. I haven't seen you one of these in a while. We're talking about Jennifer Lawrence's butthole. So you're currently pooping out of your butthole. Do you think, does Jennifer Lawrence take a dump? That's a TBD bit, slightly reworked. Could I say it's an R.M. Brown bit when he's just playing a clip of PBD saying it? How does that work? I don't know how that all works. No, that is the actual woke position. Like, you can say, the onus shouldn't be on people to be careful with their nudes, and you're right. It's bad to take people's nudes. Don't do it. The people who took those nudes and who masturbated to them could never be. Never. That was bad, but like, you probably should. I mean, I don't think that's terribly controversial to say that if you take nudes and you're very famous, don't put them out there. I mean, maybe the real truth of it is just like, stop being such a weird prude about things. If someone saw your butthole, like I remember when it happened, there was this article that was written where people are like, it was the gist of it was like, Jennifer Lawrence isn't at fault. And it's like, people are saying this person's at fault. People are saying this person's at fault. But at the end of the day, a young woman, referring to Jennifer Lawrence, is crying in her bed tonight. Does that feel good? I'm like, how do you know what the fuck she's doing? Maybe she was like, hell yeah, dude. I show my butt. Like, I mentioned this on one of the Patreon episodes that no one watches, but I do a Patreon episode every Monday where I do a crossword puzzle. And then somehow this came up of me just talking to myself alone in a room doing a crossword puzzle. I mentioned Nicola Coughlan, the Irish actress. She was doing some like press junket or something. And someone said like, I think it's very brave for someone with your body type to do a nude scene, which is like being like, so some fat bitch. It was cool that you showed us your tits, but you're fat. Get it together, which I thought was funny. And then her response, which is great. She goes, I agree. You don't see enough people with my body type, which is to say people with perfect breasts showing them. So I hope you enjoy them. Let me tell you something. She does have. Guys, stop watching this stream. Stop it. Throw your computer against a wall. Put it back together. Look up Nicola Coughlan's boobs. All right, this isn't like a leaked thing. They filmed it. She signed off. It was leaked by whatever, BBC One. Nicola Coughlan. There would be a incident how hard I would a woman. All right? You don't even understand. What you've shared, I have a question. Does it relate to Nicola Coughlan's breasts? Or is it another video of you yelling at Nazis in Portland? Because I love you. I don't have a computer. That's good not to have a computer. You shouldn't have a computer. They're bad. Okay? More about Kinbone. But yes, this is actually really woke. Kinbone is really woke here.
During his Reddit AMA, he did argue, I'm not running for president. I can say whatever I want.
It is you yelling at Nazis. Yeah, I kind of figured as much. Maybe we'll watch that. I got some other to watch first. Then we can do the you yelling at Nazis. Although I'll be honest with you, there's kind of a formula to it. You know? A Nazi comes up and is like, you stupid you're a man. And you go, well, you're ugly. And then it seems like, to be honest with you, it seems like you're giving the Nazis exactly what they want. I think they go to these places. I mean, one of the reasons you guys putting on these inflatable costumes works so well because it's not taking them seriously, you know? It's unfortunate. You should take these people seriously. They're serious people in certain ways. They're incredibly goofy, but they're obviously capable of violence. But, like, you shouldn't let anyone know you're taking them seriously, okay? This one's pretty good. We'll get to it. I want to talk about another potential Nazi who might be running for Maine, for the state of Maine. He's going to become the state of Maine. But first, we have to finish up this Kinbone discursion.
For InsideEdition.com, I'm Lee Sheps.
Okay, cool. But they didn't talk about my favorite thing. I just talked to their chat. That works. Yeah, it amazes me how many... First off, do people watch all this shit? I have like 4 viewers on my live stream, and I'm happy with them. These people appear to have a lot of viewers just watching this. I don't know. It's wild. Anyway, let's Google whatever happened to Kinbone. Then we're going to talk about Graham Plattner. First off, whatever happened to Baby Jane. We do have that. Whatever happened to Kinbone? Briefly experiencing influence opportunities, supporting different political candidates in 2020, and appearing in a 2020 New York documentary. This is a good point. His Reddit history showed he called the shooting of Trayvon Martin justified, although he later clarified he meant legal, not right, and made crude comments about celebrities. Who gives a He said he saw Jennifer Lawrence's butthole. We all saw her butthole. Who cares? The legal thing is an important distinction because people do not like this. People hate this, but it's the fact of the matter, which is things can be legally the correct decision without being something that you like. For example, Kyle Rittenhouse. Now, I'm not even saying this was legally in the right because I'm honestly not 100% sure. But based on what some people have said, Kyle Rittenhouse was exhibiting self-defense based on a reading of it. And that's what his lawyer presented in trial. And that's what the judge eventually determined was correct. Now, I don't particularly like Kyle Rittenhouse. Not that my opinion on this human really matters. But I don't like what he represents. This young little neo-Nazi. And I'll call him a neo-Nazi not just because of his actions in, where the was, right across the border. Kenosha, I think it was. He was from Rays Lake, I think. He was from not that far away from me. Lockport, maybe? Lockport's like down south. But anyway, he was from a suburb of Chicago, but a pretty far one. And then he went to Kenosha, and he shot up some people. Was he, quote-unquote, acting in self-defense? Legally, that's entirely possible. But I'll call him a Nazi not just because of that shooting, because immediately he went every Nazi podcast and was like, I love Steven Crowder, I love Tim Pool, I love all these guys. But remember, it was very funny in 2024 when he was like, I don't know, I think I'm not going to support Donald Trump because of gun things. Because Donald Trump has actually been pretty restrictive about gun rights. He made bump stocks illegal. He always said, like, we're going to take the guns. Lamp is never in half effect. All right. Lamp shows up and she's beaming. Yeah, no, Donald Trump, I'm not particularly a gun guy, like either way. It's not an issue that drives a lot of emotion in me. I get it. We should probably have tougher restrictions on guns. I'm not opposed to that. It's never going to happen. It's not something that's actually going to ever like actually get traction politically in America. Yeah, but it's not something that really, I give a to be entirely honest with you. Because first off, I think a lot of the shootings that we have, plenty of other countries have guns. Maybe not as much as America per capita, but like Canada, I think might have as much, if not more. Now, part of it is that the kind of guns they have more like hunting rifles. They don't have as much, first off, semi-automatic weapons that can shoot as many people, or pistols, which can be concealed. Regulating those, again, I wouldn't be opposed to that, but that's not something that, drives a lot of just because it's never going to happen. But I think even if like we made all guns illegal in America, we still would have more violence than most countries. And I think that's something in the DNA of America. We're a violent people. Okay? So I'm not a gun guy, But Donald Trump, yeah, is not good for the gun guys. Donald Trump was a great dividing line for the people who called themselves libertarians. And ultimately, no one's really, there's like 4 libertarians, and 3 of them have already been killed by the FBI, okay? The actual libertarians are Ted Kaczynski, who I've said before, I don't agree with all his methods, but I would say the Industrial Revolution and its effects have been disastrous for the human race. You know, when the man was spitting, he was spitting. What do you want from me? Okay? There's no actual libertarians. They're just racist. They're just racist. You could be a principled libertarian. The handful of them that I've met, I don't agree with them, but I get where they're coming from. The broader point of like, you should put less trust in the government to do things is obviously greatly oversimplified. But yeah, I would like to limit the power of the state. Now, the difference is they want to limit the power of the state broadly. I would like to limit the power of the state to do bad things. Real libertarians are anarchists. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. A real libertarian is going to be opposed to the state. Donald Trump is easily the least libertarian president of my lifetime. Fucking easily. Okay? All the Democrats, they're like, you know, whatever. The stupid MAGA people are like, oh, I had to wear a mask to go to Bennigan's. You suck my cock. I'm not going to argue about COVID with people. I'm not. It broke everybody's brain. And I get it. If you want to have a good faith discussion about overreaches of the federal government or like the way people handled things during a once in a century pandemic, I'm sure you can sit down and criticize this or that or this or that or say they should have done this better, shouldn't have done that better. I get it. There are things you can say, but all these people are coming from bad faith. They're just racist. Ooh, I briefly dropped out there, but still no dropped frames. Ayn Rand Republicans think they are libertarians. And of course, Ayn Rand later went on Social Security and welfare towards the end of her life. Yeah, people say, oh no, but I'm back, baby. I'm back. I changed a setting. So now, if the internet goes low, it just drops the bit rate. And so I look like Roblox. But at the same time, and actually this might be things up now that I think about it, I'm also recording the stream directly to my computer. Because before, I would just download it from Restream to make the edits and the cuts and the clips and the things like that. Twitch sent down. Oh, is Twitch still down? Is Twitch just not? Let me look at it. Twitch.tv. Oh, no, wait. I can check this right here and it'll tell me. It says I'm streaming here. Go check Twitch again. Check it out. Oh, you back? Yeah, you're right. I'm back. Guess who's back? I'm back again. Whatever I was talking about is not important and literally is a shit.